Hey guys, I'm Lisa Marie. I'm finally back to do a new video. I was thinking today we could do a fall inspired look since it's that time of the season. So let's just get started. So today we're going to be using the Modern Renaissance palette. Everyone should really know what this looks like already. It's pretty a staple palette. Has a lot of jewel tones and warm tones, which I like, especially the shimmers, which are very good for fall. So to prime my eyes, I'm going to be taking the Maybelline concealer and the shade Sand, and I'm going to be using that on my eyes to prime. So I like to take my brush from Flower Beauty. It's just like a concealer kind of brush. I like to use that to pat in the product. I'm going to be using the color Buff from the Lorac palette Pro, the second one. I'm going to put that on my eye to set in the concealer that I used. Okay, so with the Modern Renaissance palette, I'm going to first go into Burnt Orange. I'm going to use the Morphe R38 brush. It's just a fluffy kind of tapered brush. So I'm going to take Burnt Orange and take that with my brush pointing upward into my crease. Very light hand. I'm going to start off slow, that way it's easier to blend. I like to start on the outer corner and then sweep it in, and for the ends, that way it's blended nicely, I like to put my brush flat and sweep it out. Now I'm gonna move on to the other eye quickly, since I already explained my steps. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It's called Love Letter. I'm gonna apply it with the same brush, maybe a little bit lower, that way it transitions nice. So I'm gonna start right here underneath that transition shade and working real slow, that way it doesn't all get muddy. And I'm gonna swoop it out like that. And bring it back in. I'm not gonna bring too into the eye. I'm just gonna stop a bit like right here. I'm gonna take, what brush? Where is it? I'm gonna take my Morphe M504. It's just a fluffier kind of blending brush. I'm gonna use that on the ends, that way it's not looking crazy. Then I'm gonna take that same color again, Love Letter, and build it up into the crease right underneath that burnt orange shade. That. I'm gonna do the same on the other eye. And take Love Letter, tap off the excess, and bring it right underneath that burnt orange shade. I like to kind of keep my eye open, that way I see where the product is being placed, and then I'll squint a little bit to make sure I'm placing it where I want it to go. Let's see, I'm gonna take my Morphe M412 brush, and I'm gonna pick up the Venetian, oh no, okay, I'm gonna pick up the Venetian Red shade, which is a bit deeper than the Love Letter one, and then I'm gonna place that on the outer corner right there. I'm gonna go back with my brush I was using for my crease. I'm gonna take Love Letter again, and blend it in. I'm keeping my brush a little low. That way I could kind of mix it in with that Venetian red. And then I'm going to take the same left letter shade. I'm going to clean up the edges with my, what is this? Lab concealer brush. I'm going to use it on the edges to have that look. So I'm going to take a little bit right there. I'm going to take the brush I was using to blend out my concealer, if I can find it. So for the lid shade, I'm going to be using the collab that Doso Colors did with Katie and Desi, Harpoon, for the lid shade. I'm going to use my concealer and I'm going to look down. I'm going to place it right here and then look up. And that's how far I'm going to take it because my eyes are a little bit hooded. So I needed that guideline to go by. Okay, so instead of doing it with my finger, I had scratched off some of it with a tweezer because I felt like the pigment wasn't really coming through. So I'm going to blow some of that out and put it on the lid. I'm going to take that brush I was using for Venetian red and sweep that in just a little bit on the edges of the cook where I cut it. I'm going to take that brush, the Morphe brush again that I use for Venetian red, and blend the edges just a little bit because I went. So today I'm going to be using the One Heck of a Blot primer. Just looks like this. It's very good if you have, I guess, oily skin. I started using this one over the Makeup Forever one, which also can be compared to it, the black tube, gray tube, the smoothing primer, whatever that one is. I'm using the Makeup Forever foundation HD. I love this one. Probably have to go a little bit lighter soon because my tan from the summer is going away. I use the Y385, which is pretty dark, but like I said, I'm gonna have to use a lighter shade soon. So I'm gonna use my EcoTools brush to blend my foundation out. So I'm gonna start on the outside. Oh yeah, that is dark. I'm gonna start on where I feel like I need more coverage. Guys, I'm going to be using a mixture of the Tarte Shape Tape and the Maybelline. I use the Tarte Shape Tape in light medium and Maybelline in the sand shade. Okay, so I'm gonna let that like sit there for a little bit. I like to do that with my concealer because I feel like if you blend it out too quickly, it takes away the coverage. So I'm gonna let it dry down just a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna go back with the Real Techniques blending sponge. I'm gonna wet it a little bit with the misting spray. pat it into my hand, that way it soaks up the water. So I'm gonna take that and blend my concealer now. Okay, to set my concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair Light. I'm going to look down and press this in. Okay, we're going to move back to the eyes for a second. That way I could do the shadow underneath. I'm going to be using my Morphe M506 brush. It's just like a little detailing brush. So I'm going to take burnt orange first. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of Love Letter. I'm not going to sweep too much. Okay. Then back to the face. I'm just going to move on to cream contour. Gonna move on to cream contour. I use the e.l.f. palette. So basically we're gonna be focusing on these two shades here. These are more what I contour with. I'm take a little bit of each. I should have done this before I set a concealer, but it'll be alright. I'm gonna bring it on my forehead. And then blend it out into my hairline. So I'm going to take that on the jawline too, because you see I'm working with this. I had a baby, okay? I'm so fat. So I'm gonna take that underneath my neck, you know, hide it a little bit. Take a little bit more. See that dusty ass packaging. Okay, oh, it's in the shade Tantric. It's kind of cool tone, kind of warm, kind of bronzer. I'm gonna be using my Sonia Kashuk brush. This one is number 2. I'm gonna use that to bronze my face. Sorry guys, my camera died, so I had to charge it for a little bit, but while I was gone I applied some blush. I used the Berry & More and MAC blush, the MAC and Ginger, and the Berry & More Milani blush. And then for my highlight I used the Dos Colors Fuego, and I applied some Suze in the inner corner of my eye just to give it a little bit more pop and more open. And what else did I do? I applied some lashes. I used the Eylure lengthening lashes. They're, you know, a little cute moment. I didn't want to do dramatic as lashes because I wanted my eyeshadow to still peek through. I'm gonna use the Dos Colors Savage liquid lipstick. Looks like that. I'm using that today for the lips. I feel like it just pulls the lip up. I feel like it just pulls the look all together. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. It's very fall. The lip is very dark for this one. If you wanted to, you could switch it out for a nude instead of looking so bold and so grungy, which I like some days but not most. So yeah, this is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it, and I feel like this is a pretty good look to do since it was a very long overdue video since I've been gone so long. Okay, please subscribe and like this video. See you guys later.